The timeline that proves wealth isn't linear. You spent 8 brutal years grinding to save your first $100,000. 8 years of budgeting, sacrificing, saying no to everything, watching every dollar. It felt impossible. You thought hitting $100K would change everything, and it did, but not the way you expected. Because here's what nobody tells you. Your second $100K, it took 18 months. Not 8 years, 18 months. And your third $100K, less than a year. This isn't luck. This isn't a promotion. This is math. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why wealth building accelerates exponentially once you cross certain thresholds, and how you can use this to your advantage right now. Why the first $100,000 is a war of attrition. Let's talk about why that first $100,000 takes forever. When you're starting from zero, every dollar you save is a dollar you earned through labor. You're trading time for money at a fixed rate. If you make $60,000 a year and manage to save 20% of your income after taxes, you're putting away roughly $12,000 per year. That rate, it takes over 8 years to hit $100K, and that's assuming zero setbacks, zero emergencies, zero life happening to you. But life does happen. Your car breaks down. You need a new laptop. Someone gets married and you need to buy a gift and fly across the country. Medical bills. These aren't failures of discipline, they're reality. So while the math says 8 years, the lived experience is often closer to 10 or 12. This is the grind. This is why most people never make it past this point. Your biggest problem is having nothing to compound. Here's the part that makes the first $100K so brutal. You have nothing working for you except your paycheck. Every dollar in your account is sitting there doing nothing. Sure, maybe you have a savings account earning 0.5% interest, which means your $10,000 makes you $50 a year. Congratulations, that's one nice dinner. You can't invest aggressively because you need liquidity for emergencies. You can't take risks because you don't have a safety net. You're stuck in this zone where your money can't make money because you don't have enough money yet. This is the wealth building paradox. The people who need investment returns the most are the people who can least afford to invest. So you're grinding it out, dollar by dollar, paycheck by paycheck, with zero acceleration. It's pure linear growth. You save $1,000 per month, you have $12,000 at the end of the year. There's no compounding. There's no momentum. There's just you and your labor. Breaking down the 8-year grind, let me show you the exact math of why this takes so long. Let's say you make $60,000 per year. After federal taxes, state taxes, and FICA, you're taking home about $45,000. That's $3,750 per month. Now you have rent or mortgage, let's say $1,200. Utilities, $150. Groceries, $400. Car payment and insurance, $400. Student loan payment, $300. Phone, internet, subscriptions, $150. That's $2,600 in fixed expenses before you've done anything. You have $1,150 left. Now you need gas, work clothes, occasional car maintenance, household items, basic personal care. Let's say another $300. You're down to $850. If you can save all $850, no social life, no restaurants, no travel, no hobbies, nothing, you save $10,200 per year. Add in a small annual bonus or tax refund, maybe you get to $12,000. That's 8.3 years to 100K. But nobody lives like that. So realistically, you save $600 to $700 per month, and it takes 10 years. This is why it's a war of attrition. Why most people quit before 100K. Now let's talk about psychology, because this is where most people break. Saving for 8 to 10 years with no visible progress is psychological torture. You watch your friends go on vacations, buy new cars, live in nice apartments, and you're eating rice and beans in a studio, checking your account balance and seeing $47,000 after 5 years of grinding. It doesn't feel like progress. It feels like you're running on a treadmill. Everyone around you is telling you to live a little and enjoy your 20s, and you can't take it with you. The delayed gratification is endless. There's no finish line you can see. And the worst part? You know that even when you hit 100K, you're not rich, you're not not financially free, you're just less broke. So the question becomes, why am I doing this? And that's when people quit. They give up at 30K, 50K, 70K and say, screw it, I'm going to Europe. This is why the first 100K is the hardest. It's not just math. It's a test of whether you can delay gratification longer than everyone around you thinks is reasonable. What changes when you hit $100,000? Now here is where everything changes. You finally hit that first $100,000 and something magical happens. Your money starts working for you. Not in some small theoretical way, in a real, tangible, measurable way. Let us say you have $100,000 invested in a simple S&P 500 index fund. The historical average return is about 10% per year. That means your money is making $10,000 per year without you doing anything. Think about that. You were grinding for years to save $12,000 annually through your labor, and now your money is generating $10,000 just by existing. You are still working and saving that $12,000 per year from your paycheck, but now you've got an extra $10,000 coming in from investment returns. That's $22,000 per year going toward your second $100,000 instead of just $12,000. You just cut your timeline from 8 years to less than 5 years. But it gets better, because that $10,000 in returns, it gets reinvested. It compounds. Next year, you're not earning 10% on 100K, you're earning 10% on 110K, then 121K, then 133K. The snowball starts rolling. The math that changes everything. Let me break down the exact math so you can see how powerful this is. Year 1 after hitting $100,000, you save $12,000 from your job, your investments earn $10,000, you end the year at $122,000. Year 2, you save another $12,000, but now your $122,000 earns $12,200 in returns. You end at $146,200. Year 3, another $12,000 saved, your $146,220 earns $14,620. You end at $172,820. Notice what's happening? Your investment returns are growing every single year because you're earning returns on your previous returns. That's compound interest. By year 4, you're at $202,102. You just crossed $200,000. It took you 8 years to get the first $100,000. It took you 4 years to get the second $100,000. And you're about to see it get even faster. This is not luck. This is not a trick. This is just math that most people never stick around long enough to experience because they quit in years 3, 5, or 7 of that brutal first $100,000 grind. Why the third 100K takes less than a year. Now watch what happens with your third 100K. You are starting year 5 with $202,000 in investments. You are still saving $12,000 per year from your job, but now your $202,000 is earning $20,200 per year in returns. Add your $12,000 in savings to that $20,200 in returns, and you are adding $32,200 to your net worth every single year. At that rate, you hit $300,000 in less than 3 years. But let us be even more conservative and account for market fluctuations. Even in a bad year, you are looking at 18 to 24 months to add that third 100K. Compare that to the 8 years it took you to save the first one. This is the power of compounding at scale. Your money is not just working for you, it is working harder than you ever could through labor alone. Every dollar you saved in those brutal early years is now multiplying. The $10,000 you saved in year 2 of your journey, it has been compounding for years. It is worth $15,000 or $18,000 now, and it is still growing. This is why people who make it past that first 100K tend to build wealth exponentially from that point forward. The income factor. But wait, there is another factor we haven't even talked about yet. Your income probably isn't staying at $60,000 forever. Most people see income growth over time through promotions, job changes, skill development, or side hustles. Let's say by year 5 or 6 of your journey, you are making $80,000 instead of $60,000. Your savings rate just jumped. Instead of saving $12,000 per year, maybe you are saving $18,000 or $20,000. Now you've got $20,000 from your returns plus $20,000 from your savings. That's $40,000 per year going toward wealth building. At this rate, each additional $100K takes less than 2.5 years. But here's the critical part. Most people let lifestyle inflation eat that income growth. They get the raise to $80,000 and immediately upgrade their apartment, their car, their lifestyle. They're still only saving $12,000 per year because their expenses went up with their income. This is the trap. If you can keep your lifestyle relatively stable as your income grows, you supercharge the wealth building process. This is how people go from 100K net worth to 500K in just a few years, while their peers are still stuck trying to save their first 50K. The psychological shift. Now let us talk about the psychological shift that happens once you cross $100,000, because this is just as important as the math. When you have $0 or $20,000 saved, you operate from a scarcity mindset. Every expense feels like a setback. Every emergency feels like a catastrophe. You are always one bad month away from losing progress. But when you have $100,000 or $200,000 invested, something shifts. You have a real safety net now. You can take smarter career risks because you have a runway. You can negotiate harder for raises because you are not desperate. You can invest more aggressively because you can weather market downturns. This psychological confidence creates a positive feedback loop. You make better financial decisions because you are not operating from fear. You take calculated risks that pay off. You are not just building wealth, you are building the mindset of a wealthy person. And here's the beautiful irony. The discipline that got you to 100K, the delayed gratification, the sacrifice, the focus, that same discipline is now working on a much larger base. You are not working any harder. Your habits have not changed, but the results are exponentially bigger because the foundation is bigger. This is what people mean when they say the first 100K is the hardest. It is not that the second and third 100K are easy. It is that the system you built finally has enough fuel to run efficiently.
How to accelerate your first 100K. So now that you understand why the first 100K is brutal and why it accelerates after that, let us talk strategy. How do you actually get to that first 100K faster? First, you need to increase your income. I know that sounds obvious, but most people are not aggressive enough about this. You cannot save your way to wealth on $40,000 per year. You need to be learning skills, asking for raises, switching jobs, starting side hustles, whatever it takes to push your income higher. Every $10,000 increase in income can shave a year or more off your timeline if you do not let lifestyle inflation eat it. Second, you need to be ruthless about expenses in the early years. I'm not saying live like a monk forever, but for the first 3 to 5 years, you need to keep your fixed costs as low as possible. Rent a cheaper place, drive a used car, cook at home. These are not sacrifices. These are investments in your future self. Third, automate your savings. The moment your paycheck hits, 20% should disappear into investments before you even see it. If you rely on willpower to save what is left over at the end of the month, you will fail. Automation removes the decision. Fourth, invest aggressively. A savings account will not get you there. You need your money in the stock market, compounding. Yes, there is risk. Yes, there will be downturns, but over 8 to 10 years, the market has always recovered and grown. The mindset. Here is the brutal truth. Getting to 100K requires you to think differently than everyone around you. Your friends will think you are cheap. Your family will not understand why you are not buying a new car when you got a raise. Society will tell you to live in the moment and enjoy your youth. You have to block all of that out. This is not about being miserable. This is about being strategic. You are playing a different game than they are. They are optimizing for today. You are optimizing for freedom. And here's what nobody tells you. The sacrifice period is temporary, but the results are permanent. You grind hard for 5 to 8 years, and then you have a money-making machine that works for you forever. Most people do the opposite. They live comfortably for decades and then panic in their 40s and 50s when they realize they have nothing saved. Do not be most people. Embrace the delayed gratification. Make peace with being the weird one who doesn't have the fancy apartment or the new car, because in 10 years you will have options they can't even imagine. You will have the ability to take a year off, to start a business without fear, to retire early if you want. That freedom is worth every sacrifice you make today.
The math recap. Let me recap the math one more time so it is crystal clear. First 100K, 8 to 10 years of pure savings from labor. No compounding, no acceleration, just you grinding it out dollar by dollar. Second 100K, 4 to 5 years. Why? Because now you have 100K earning 10% returns, giving you $10,000 per year on top of your $12,000 in savings. Third 100K, 2 to 3 years. Why? Because now you have 200K earning $20,000 per year, plus your savings, plus probably higher income by this point. Fourth 100K, 18 to 24 months. Fifth 100K, 12 to 18 months. Do you see the pattern? Each 100K takes roughly half the time of the previous one. This is not magic. This is compound interest doing exactly what it is designed to do. By the time you hit 500K, you're adding 100K per year just from investment returns alone, even if you never save another dollar. At $1 million, you're making 100K per year from your investments while you sleep. That is the same amount it took you 8 years of brutal saving to accumulate in the beginning. The math is undeniable. The only question is, are you willing to do what it takes to get to that first 100K? The common mistakes. Before we wrap up, let me tell you the most common mistakes that derail people on this journey. Mistake number 1, they quit too early. They save for 3 or 4 years, get to 40K or 50K, see no finish line, and give up. They do not realize they were halfway there in terms of time, but the second half would have been exponentially faster. Mistake number 2, lifestyle inflation. They get a raise and immediately upgrade their life instead of their savings rate. Every dollar that goes to a nicer apartment or a new car is a dollar that is not compounding for you. Mistake number 3, not investing. They keep their money in a savings account earning nothing because they are scared of the stock market. Meanwhile, inflation is eating their purchasing power every single year. Mistake number 4, not increasing income. They accept their 50K salary and never push for more. You cannot save your way to wealth on a low income. You have to grow your earning power. Mistake number 5, comparing themselves to others. They see friends buying houses and cars and feel like they're falling behind, so they abandon the plan. Remember, you are playing a different game. Your friends might look successful now, but check back in 10 years. Avoid these 5 mistakes and you will get there.
The final call to action. So here is where we are. You now understand why the first 100K takes 8 years and why the second takes 18 months. You know the math, you know the psychology, you know the strategy, you know the mistakes to avoid. The only thing left is execution. If you are sitting at 0 or 10K or 50K right now, do not be discouraged. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to start. The fact that you watched this entire video means you are already thinking differently than most people. You understand delayed gratification. You are willing to play the long game. That puts you ahead of 90% of people who will never build wealth because they cannot delay gratification past next weekend. So here is what you do next. Calculate exactly how much you need to save per month to hit 100K in 8 years. For most people, that is around $1,000 per month. If you cannot do 1,000, do 800. If you cannot do 800, do 500. Just start. Automate it today. Set up the transfer. Make it automatic. Then focus on increasing your income every single year. That is the game. Maximize savings rate, minimize expenses, increase income, invest aggressively. Do not quit. That's it. That is the formula. The math works. The only question is whether you will stick with it long enough to see it work. I will see you at 100K. If you like this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. The next video will be uploaded the day after tomorrow. Till then, stay stunned, keep learning, and keep growing. Bye.